And we're live.
Hey,
Hi.
good morning, Crystal.
Good morning, Miss Jackie. How are you?
I'm doing really, really awesome. And I want to say good morning or good evening, wherever people are, to all of our viewers.
Hello, viewers.
And today, on this beautiful October day, I would like to introduce my guest, Crystal Crawford. She's an Access Consciousness a certified facilitator, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with you today, Crystal. How does it get better than that?
Thanks, Jackie. I'm excited too. That's
Yes.
very cool.
Yeah. So, Crystal, the reason I invited you to have this conversation with me is I have recently done what they call the 5 days of change,
Yes.
which is 2 days of the foundation of access consciousness, and then another couple of days of what we have, the level one, where they teach awesome tools. And I wanted my friends and people whom I know to take this because in those 5 days, things really shifted for me in a big way. Seriously, shifted for me in a big way. And when I understood that you were hosting one here locally in Vancouver, I said, hell, shit, I live in Vancouver. I would love to host you, Crystal. And I also feel strongly attached to the work that you do because I've taken your business class.
Yeah.
I've done some work with you, so I understand how you work and how you create things so rapidly. Like, holy shit, I want to do that. So here I am hosting you, Crystal, in Vancouver, and it's happening in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. And I'm so grateful for that introduction and so grateful for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was when we were talking about, the class, the 5 days of change, and you said, well, people don't want 5 days of change. And I was like, that's kind of true. Like, what? It's vague, right? Like when you say 5 days of change, people are like, well, I change my clothes every day. So what are you talking about? Yeah.
And also in my experience, when clients come to me, generally speaking, mostly to quit smoking, they are so afraid of change. It's like I've smoked for 35, 40 years, 45 years. Can I really change? They're so skeptical. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
change is scary for some people.
It can be for sure. And
it can be.
There's everybody's so different,
Yeah.
With whoever you are that's watching that, change for you could be, quitting smoking, and change for somebody else could be traveling all the way across the world. And I think what I like to invite people to when I'm with these classes is like, whatever it is that you would like to change is possible. And
I love that. Yes.
Yeah, like if it is something, if you want to change your whole life, that's possible. If you want to quit smoking, that's possible. If you want to lose weight, that's possible. But then the message being that change is possible and not as hard as we've been told it is.
Yeah. So can I share what I want to change? So for the most part, and especially in the last 3 years, I desperately wanted to change my money story. And I knew it was a story. I knew it wasn't about hard work because I really work hard. I work long hours. I'm a networking queen. I connect with people. I do all the right things that people say in this, in this reality you have to do. You have to work hard and you have to spend hours and you have to network and meet people. I was doing that and so much more, taking training, taking coaching. I coached for nearly 3.5 years with top coaches in the United States. And nothing freaking was changing in my money story. So it would change a little bit and I would go back to my, my thermostat.
Yeah.
And after I've started doing this work, it's really flowing for me, Crystal. Seriously, it's flowing for me. Yesterday, for example, I booked a client for $1,500. It was so effortless, not just for me, but for him.
Yeah.
Our conversation was about, I think, 18 minutes. He's a business owner. He's struggling with alcohol. He knew me 7 years ago. He contacted me through LinkedIn. We had an 18-minute conversation, and he booked a program, a package for $1,500. It was so effortless.
Yeah.
And I know that with your teachings, you can make it effortless for people.
Well, that's what's so crazy about the tools of access consciousness is they don't make any sense. I mean, and even when you get the manual for these classes and you kind of look through the manual and you're like, this is going to change my life. And yet the tools that we start to teach people of, the points of view are creating your reality just with that one tool. When you have a point of view about money that it's difficult to receive, then all of a sudden money becomes difficult to receive. So one of the things we start to work with in these classes is, what are the points of view that you have that are creating what you don't want to have? If you do desire something different with money, with your business, if you do desire more ease, more of this, less of that, what are the points of view that are keeping you from actually having that? And that's where we start to play. And the thing about points of view is that we actually aren't super aware of all of the ones that we have creating our reality. And so these classes get into all these kind of energetic nooks and crannies where we have points of view lurking that are creating things we don't want to have, and start to just unravel all of that in a really different way.
And I did not have any points of view about money.
I'm sure, none at all.
Not that you had to work hard for it. My big one, Crystal, was education.
Cool.
And it goes way back when that you have to have a degree and you have to have that big certificate that you have, a degree, a university degree equals money. So that was a big one for me. So,
And you've noticed that that's not true anymore.
No, hell, 18 minutes, $1,500. I don't know what else is possible.
Exactly, what else is possible, and that is one of the tools. Is like, what we tend to do is we tend to bump into a limitation, or bump into somebody else's point of view, or bump into the fact that people might judge us, and we don't ask the question of what else is possible. We perceive, because we're so aware, the judgment or the wall or the limitation, and we stop there and we get afraid and we get confused and we create conflict around it, instead of asking a question of, okay, what else is possible here that I haven't considered? And that's just around money. I mean, I'm really aware that there's so many other areas where we really struggle, and this class can create something different for all of them.
The other big one is relationships.
Huge.
Can you help with that?
Well, I do have a specialty class called The Kindness of Sex that deals specifically with that. The 5 days of change does start to really shed some light and give some tools for relationships. When I first started taking, when I first took my Foundation Level 1, my Buyer's Foundation Level 1, I was in a relationship. And I was actually, I was just starting a new one and coming out of 11 years of being married. So I was already starting a new journey into really what was true for me. I was looking for, something different. And that's why we get married and we get divorced, because it's like, well, this isn't working. There's got to be something else that works. But what we aren't really given at all is this manual or handbook on like tools that would actually make the next thing work, It's like we've kind of decided, well, this person doesn't work for me, and so I'm going to go find a different kind of person.
Correct.
And what I got out of the 5 days was that, one, I had no idea what actually worked for me, which was a huge awareness. And two, I had not gone into like developing intimacy with me, and intimacy as it's described in Access is very different from the intimacy that I read in like, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and even the 5 love languages. Like, it was a very different set of awarenesses around intimacy that actually, allowed me to get more in touch with trusting me and being vulnerable with me and grateful for me, and amongst a lot of other tools like interesting point of view, they have that point of view, instead of getting all twisted up in the drama of something, going, okay, well, that's his point of view and I have my point of view. And, so beginning to unravel the insanity that is this like jealousy and weird traumatic stuff that we get around partners that keeps us in this really crazy place.
Yeah. For me, intimacy means or meant he wants to jump into my pants.
Exactly.
Right? It brought up so much anxiety.
Yeah. Whereas intimacy, as it's defined in Access, is the 5 elements of intimacy. So honoring you, trusting you, being vulnerable with you, grateful for you, acknowledging you, and starting with you. And therefore it being able to kind of flow over into having all that for your partner. Intimacy having nothing to do with copulation, which is putting the body parts together. And really getting into sexualness. Like nobody even knows what that word is, but sexualness is that energy of like nurturing and healing and playfulness and joy and all this stuff that we're not actually taught, when we're dreaming of the white picket fence and the husband and the 2.5 kids and the dog,
I want more of that, Crystal.
Yeah. Only you.
So money is a big one.
Yeah.
Relationship is a big one. And then there's health. I can't sleep and I have so much physical pain and, a family member is dying of cancer. I mean, all the stress that brings. How can I cope with the situation that I feel I have no control over?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because there's tools for coping that we give you. And then there's the tools that give you the awareness of the way you actually function. And to talk about that a little bit more, it's like a lot of us don't actually know that we have this healing capacity with our bodies. And we don't actually know that we're super aware of everything. One of the things we talk about in Access is that you're more like a psychic SpongeBob than anything else. Like we think a lot of us walk around feeling really screwed up, really different and weird and screwed up. And instead of having the awareness that, what if you weren't as screwed up as you thought you were and you're just really, really psychic and you pick up on everything, and because you don't know that you do that, you make yourself wrong for everything you're picking up and you feel weird about it. But that capacity for picking up on energies has a lot to do with what goes on in your body. And we're not, again, that's something we're not really taught. Like when you've got intensity in your body, one of the first questions we teach you to ask is it yours? Or is it someone else's? Who teaches you that? Like, of course it's mine. It's in my body. Like I feel. One of my best friends is a 72-year-old amazing woman who, when I met her, was just eking her way out of a 25-year battle with fibromyalgia.
Wow. And
I introduced her to the tools of Access, and we got her getting her bars run, which if you don't know anything about that, check out the website right underneath my face here. But the bars are a 32 point on your head body process that just releases like lifetimes of energetic stuck points and limitation, and really deletes files on your hard drive as if you just were on your computer and you were pressing delete. And Maxine, being the generation that she is and having gone through all of this life experience and a lot of pain with fibromyalgia, was skeptical. Skeptical was an understatement. She was like, skeptical and desperate, really. And I just said, you know what, try it. Let's run your bars for 3 to 4 hours at a time, and let's just see what it creates in your body.
Wow.
And she started coming out of fibromyalgia in a really dynamic way, meaning like for 13 years, she was literally immobile, like couldn't move, because when she moved, the clothing on her skin would actually hurt her skin. So and that was just the beginning. And now she's, playing with more of the verbal tools and having body processes run. And at 72, her body is actually coming back from a place where it was dying, literally dying. So with health problems, and so one of the things that I've talked with Maxine about is her capacity as a healer. Wow. And it's changed everything for her, because she never knew she had that capacity. And the thing about capacities that go unacknowledged is that our bodies go to being them and doing them without us. it's like, if we're, that's fine. Body's like, well, you're unaware. Well, I'm not unaware. I have this capacity, and so I just do this. But because we're unaware of our body's capacity, we don't have, we stick ourselves with it. You know, we pick up on an intensity, make it ours, and create this thing in our body. So the tools that we start to play with are tools like, does that even belong to you? And what,
how simple is that?
It's so simple. And what's crazy about Access is like the tool right before that is, let's teach you actually the first thing, which is what's true for you is really light. And what's not true for you is really heavy.
Yeah.
So when people are looking at, like, you know, discovering, well, what do you mean what's true for me? You know, it's like, okay, well, what creates more lightness in your body? If it creates more lightness, to go, does that belong to you or someone else? If someone else is lighter, what if that's actually true?
Wow.
And what we start to
how life-changing is that alone?
Huge, just that one thing. And there's like, that's 2 tools out of 5 days of manuals. And but this is the thing about the core tools of Access Consciousness, is that if you had nothing else but the core tools, like, you could create a totally different life. And so what we do in this 5 days is we go even further than that, and into all of these little spaces and places where you might not have known that, you know, throughout the entire time that you've been around, trapped yourself in these places that keep you from actually having the amount of choice that you really could have with your body and with your life, and the amount of possibilities that you could really choose if you just knew that there was a way to choose them.
How awesome, right?
Yeah.
How awesome.
Yeah. So,
and it's really possible. It's really possible after years of struggle, right?
Yeah, like for me, you know, it was 38 years of really, really searching and really being unhappy. I mean, I've told this story in a number of places, but for me, it was 38 years of being a sad person. Like, I cried all the time. I was always upset about something. There was very few moments of joy, and I was on a constant search for how to be happy. You know, it was in and out of psychotherapy and psychiatry and EMDR and BIE, and there were some things that gave me temporary relief, and there were some things that created more permanent change. But literally, until I found Access Consciousness, I never found a set of tools that could actually empower me to create the life that I wanted to have. And that's been the gift of this. And I know for you, it's changed quite a bit already too.
Yeah. And I've beat you by 20 years. I'm 60. I'm 60, so it took me seriously over 59 years of the same shit over and over and over again. My father was an alcoholic. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, right?
Yeah. And I've
really changed me dramatically. So.
Yeah, and you're, you know, and that's the thing about our lives is, like, you know, if for us as seekers, we're always looking for that next thing. There's got to be more. And what I would say to anybody watching this is, like, if you've ever suspected that there was more, there is.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I found Access, I said, there has to be something where I can have a happy life without going to see a professional every week, 3 times a week at that time. You know, there has to be something, and that's when Access got tugged into my world. And so if that's where you're at, like, trust your awareness. And what I say to anybody that's looking at this class anywhere in the world, and I'm one of, you know, 400 different facilitators around the world. So find one where you are. If this class is like tugging at you and won't let you go, what would it take for you to listen to it and just jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this class is happening October 22nd.
Yeah.
October 26th.
Yeah, and here in Vancouver, and so you're invited, and we'd love to play with you. And if you're not anywhere in the area, and it's, you know, not a choice for the now, go to 5daysofchange.weebly.com to see if there's one near you, and also accessconsciousness.com. You can also check out theclearingstatement.com, and Jackie's got her website posted for the amazing work that she does as well. So.
Thank you so much, Crystal. It was such a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you, Jackie. And I can't wait for our class. I can't wait to see what gets created.
I know. It's going to be so awesome, so exciting.
Cool.
See you on the 22nd.
See you soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.